Leanne Manners is there. She is highlighting SAA's first trip to Abuja from Johannesburg, and we'll be crossing to her live in just a moment. But first, let's get a little bit of music from that part of the world.
You're seeing some traditional music and dancing that we witnessed yesterday. We went to our own visitor village, actually. This was just outside. Actually, well, we'd gone out to Niger State and then we'd come back into Abuja, and this was just outside of that area, and it was quite fascinating. This little village is actually called Bill Clinton Village, and the reason being, when Bill Clinton was president of the United States, he actually paid this village a visit, and we saw some pottery being made there, and it was absolutely fascinating watching it. I mean, these ladies were making these pots by hand, and the precision was absolutely unbelievable to witness. I mean, it was perfect. You saw so many of the people in our party buying some of these pots to bring back to South Africa. It was a wonderful, wonderful thing to see. And also, riding on the back of the motorbikes and taking a ride up and down the village was also fun. I don't know what was more fun, being on the back of the motorbike or the villagers watching us riding up and down the roads. I think the whole village was out watching and having a good laugh at all of us. Anyway, let's talk about one of the industries that has become huge here in Nigeria. We know Hollywood, but let me tell you something. Here in Nigeria, they know Nollywood. This is a huge industry, and it just appears to be growing bigger and bigger. The movie industry is very, very big in Lagos, but here in Abuja, it's taken off quite dramatically as well, and they're finding it a little bit easier because it's not as busy as Lagos, and they can find places to film and environments like you're seeing behind me. It's actually quite beautiful scenery. Well, I've got Paul Apple with me, who is a Nigerian producer, director, and he also dabbles in a bit of acting too. Good to have you, Paul. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
So I talk about the fact that this Nollywood and the film industry is growing so much, but how big is it when we talk numbers and we talk about its contribution to the economy?
I think the numbers that are flying out there are usually, when we look at it deeply, we find out it's not really, it's more than that.
Yeah.
Because it's not really organized. And you find that Nollywood is growing from individuals. It's not, we're not feeling the corporate entity of Nollywood yet, because there are no investments in Nollywood. This industry is being built by traders. Just a lot of traders who found a vacuum, a need for content, and they went with that. And you can see that with that we have so much contribution to the economy, and yet the government is still grappling to arrange the industry. And I think when that is properly done, then you can really see it's bigger than what we're looking at now.
Yeah. Take us back to the start of the film industry. When did it all begin here?
I think about 20 years ago. It all started with home videos. I think if you look back, the first productions were done on film, real film, not video cameras. And so when the economy went so bad, the military era and all that, and there was this hardship, SAP and the rest, people could not afford so much earnings to make films. And there were no studios. And we depended so much on Bollywood films and American films, Hollywood.
Yeah.
But there was this large population hungry for our kind of stories.
Yeah.
And so some people picked up the normal video cameras and started filming very funnily looking films, but they had audience for them because there was hunger for it. And the Igbo traders, specifically, who just trade on electronics and the rest of them, found a place to put their monies and get so much money back. And they went into the business. So the professionals were not really doing the business until later. Today we have all class of filmmakers, the professionals and yet the traders doing their thing. But I think Hollywood became so big from the traders. Now we are pulling strings from the professionals who make films. They say, we're making a film for cinema, we're making a film for the DVDs, we're making a film for a home video.
Yeah.
So I think it all started with the hunger for content. And we're still enjoying that, because whatever level you are making films in Nigeria, you have your audience. You can make the most shabby film, you have your
And
audience.
you still have an audience.
You can make the best film with the best of cameras, you still have your audience. So
Yeah.
I think that is working for us, because we have a large population of people
Indeed.
hungry.
Indeed.
And yet, these films are not going out to this big population really, because if you make a film and you sell maybe 500,000 copies, you feel you've done something. But we're over 160, 70 million. So that means if we can really reach out to the public, to the population we have within Nigeria, you can make so much money.
You can make more. Educate me, because I know very little about it and I haven't had the opportunity to sort of look around and see. Big cinema houses.
Yeah.
If you go to these big cinema houses, what do you predominantly see there? I mean, would you see a Hollywood blockbuster, or is it really just your Nollywood local movies that are showing mostly?
The thing is changing, like before now, people go to cinemas to watch Hollywood films, but it's changing. Now you find people going to watch Nigerian films,
Right.
Nollywood films, which is good. One of the films that grossed the highest earnings since cinema started in Nigeria, it's a Nigerian film, 30 Days in Atlanta. So I think over time, we are beginning to accept our films.
Yeah.
But I think we should even do more. Because the quality has to keep improving. We're improving the quality, we have to keep doing more. So now there's a competition really in our cinemas where you find more of Nollywood films being shown than the foreign films.
That's amazing, and I know that that's a battle in South Africa. We're trying to get up to a position where you'll find South Africans supporting the local movies more than the Hollywood blockbusters, which is it's still a big battle.
Yeah.
Yourself, I mean, talk to me about some of the movies that you've done. How's it been for you in this industry?
Well, it's been a good ride. Rough usually when you start out, but it's getting better. And I've done, I think I have about 10 films.
Wow.
My personal films are about 6, and I've worked with other producers. Worked for other producers, maybe some other films. Mr. and Mrs., the film we did, I worked on that film, acted and edited the film. Grave Dust, Blue Flames, 99th Day, Maybe Doe, Conscripted is the one I'm working on right now, and Love Circle, Red Line, a couple of
There's
films
so
out
many
there.
of them, I can't believe
you
it.
can find them on different platforms where you can see them in the market, in cinemas, and online.
Wonderful. Well, thank you for talking to us. It's been quite fascinating. So thanks so much. And this was Paul Happel, who's a Nigerian producer, director, and also an actor as well, about Bollywood and what a huge business it is here in Nigeria. Again, thanks so much for being with us. Let's take a break. When we return, I want to talk about the Nigerian economy. I mean, when South Africa heard that Nigeria had taken over as the largest economy on the African continent, it hurt us. It did. But why? Why is it so big? Let's take a break. After this, we're going to talk about that. Stay tuned.